Hello everyone and welcome to Wednesday's Talking Reds. My name is Mo Stewart and alongside me today, Mr. Fuad Hasan. Welcome.
Thank you. It's just been a while, hasn't it? I think Turkey was last time we done it.
Oh,
what a morning that was.
Oh dear. yes. We had quite some fun in Turkey,
Yeah.
just like the Reds did, and you only got to see some of it. Thank
Thank God.
Now, today is game day, which makes our agenda a lot easier. We're playing against West Ham. It's the game that held over from when we were in Qatar, the last time we won a trophy. West Ham probably would have preferred to play the game then against our kids, because right now they're in the mire, mate. They are currently only above the relegation zone on goal difference.
Wow.
And if anyone's seen some of their recent performances against Leicester, they got beat 4-1. They got beat at home in the Cup by West Brom, managed by their former manager, Slaven Bilic. And Fuad, it just doesn't look like they want any part of us right now.
No, definitely. I think you speak to any West Ham fan, there's probably the last team in the entirety of Europe that they want to be playing at the moment. And yeah, going into this, I guess it's sort of that stage now where they can't, like you said just before the show, they can't really pick and choose where they want to pick up points because they're in such desperate need. But then you look at the run they have now, they've got us, they've got Brighton next, which you'd think is the one that they really definitely need to win, and then back-to-back City and Liverpool. So yeah, they're in a position now where it's just getting anything they possibly can, and Davy Moyes is going to try exactly that.
Yeah, the fact that it's Moyes adds just that little extra bit of spice to the situation.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, Liverpool coming off the back of a disappointing performance and result against Shrewsbury, but we're not expecting a massive amount of the players who played in that game to play on Wednesday. So hopefully it's a clean slate, they can go out there. And this might be one of those games, we've seen quite a few tight games where we've holding on to a 1-goal lead for a long period of time. Could this be the game we see the goals start to fly?
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, everything on paper kind of suggests so. A record at the new stadium, I guess, has been really good in terms of the wins. Last season, obviously, there was that really frustrating draw, which we probably got away with in a sense. We probably should have won West Ham, but otherwise we've gone there and scored for fun, pretty much. Salah's been brilliant there. Chamberlain has scored. I think he scored his first goal over there as well. So it's been a good ground for the Reds, and the new stadium is one of those where there's plenty of room. The atmosphere is not really like you'd expect from West Ham, mainly because of the stadium. So, and obviously, like you're saying, with how bad their situation is, who knows what the attendance is going to be like? Because
I think it's a shame it's not on TV, because we might be able to hear the Reds chanting quite a little bit louder than normal. Now, you are going to be going down there.
I am, yeah.
Have you been before?
I have, yeah. I think the first season they moved into that stadium, I went right up in the gods. It's one of the worst grounds I think to go to. Not the best thing you want to be saying before you're leaving, but it's one of them where you got a lower tier which is right by the ground, by the pitch, and then there's about 100 meters, and then the upper tier at the top, and it's just sort of like very disconnected. Your view is, you need binoculars if you're up at the top. It's ridiculous, to be honest.
So you can kind of see the points West Ham fans making about the atmosphere and stuff like that. And when you don't feel comfortable in your own home, I find it really hard, especially when you are up against it, and they are really up against it. So again, this could be one of those games where if we get a couple of early goals, West Ham's resolve might start to dissipate. I think, as much as you mentioned before, they've got the Brighton game at the weekend. That's going to be the more important game.
Yeah.
They're not going to want to go into it with a hammering. So, okay, cards on the table. All injuries permitting, how many defenders do you think David Moyes is going to pick?
Pulling them out the reserves and everything, yeah. He's got what? He's got 2 centre halves fit at the moment, or has he got a couple of others?
Ogbonna may well be fit.
Right.
Balbuena technically is fit, but he was substituted at half time. For those of you who don't know, they made 3 substitutions at half time at the weekend. No one was injured. That tells you all you need to know about the form of West Ham's players right now. But let's talk more about Liverpool players, shall we?
Yeah.
We are expecting, as I say, it to be more of this first team playing this game than it was against Shrewsbury. But obviously, Sadio Mane is not there, and we will need to replace him. First of all, I'll ask you who you think Klopp will pick, and if that's different to what you would do, what would you do?
Well, I was sort of thinking about this before a little bit. We've seen it at West Ham as well. We've seen him play a bit of a diamond, haven't we? When Sturridge was around, and he scored in that game, and we looked quite good in spells. I think Keita played all right there last season as well. So I think he's probably look, you got Salah and Firmino there who are more than capable of kind of leading that line if he wants to go for a little bit of a two. And then if he had that same sort of diamond, that the options are there. I don't know. I have a little feeling this is the one where he just chucks Keita in. He didn't play against Shrewsbury. I felt like that was probably, for a reason.
Yeah.
He might just think, you know what, there's plenty of space. It's a big ground. We can get him to run at people. Oxlade-Chamberlain's another one who probably will, get a start. I think Lallana's comes too soon for him, doesn't it? So I think it's impossible to replace what Mane does, isn't it? It's so unique in so many ways, going forward and defensively. So it's almost a case of sort of jiggling your formation a bit. I think that's what he's probably going to end up doing.
I'd like to see that too as well. I mean, we know Minamino is still kind of getting into his Liverpool career, still getting his legs under him. I feel like after the performance against Shrewsbury, he could probably do with watching the game from the bench for one. Divock been disappointing, I think it's fair to say, in his last couple of performances. So maybe Klopp needs to give him the extra carrot of saying, look, we're going to have to wait till you start playing better before you get back on the pitch. So I would definitely support Naby Keita. I feel like he's the kind of guy who can give West Ham players nightmares. So let's hope that that's exactly what happens.
Hopefully.
Now, speaking in more terms about Sadio, Klopp mentioned in his press conference yesterday that he expects him to miss this game and Southampton game, but hopefully, when whatever break we do get, he will be back in time for Norwich. It's great news, isn't it?
It's brilliant. Yeah, I feared the worst, if I'm honest with you. When you see a player go off like that, I was at Wolves and you could see him struggle immediately, grab his hamstring. He was already walking off the pitch while play was going on, and I was sort of thinking the worst. This could be, one of those 6-7 week ones where, he misses a crucial kind of period of the season. And to hear that it's hopefully only going to be those 2 weeks is brilliant.
Yeah, and it's almost perfect because you can kind of bring him back for Norwich, maybe off the bench, which means he'll be ready to start in Madrid against Atletico in the Champions League, which is, I believe, going to be the game we're absolutely going to need him.
Definitely, 100%.
But so that's good news. Hopefully we'll get the win tonight. As I mentioned, for us here in England, it's not on TV, so we're going to be doing the internet dance. Hooray! Luckily for you, you'll be at the game. All of you can catch all of our game coverage. As always, there's going to be a post-match pint, post-match show, all of that stuff. So for those of you like me who may be stuck with a dodgy stream, you can find out what it was really like from these lads later, which is kind of handy.
Not sure we want to be filming much, to be honest. It's a long train down, that's all I'm going to say.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it one of them, is it? Okay, well, I'll have to ask some of the other people. Who else is going with you?
It's Craig, Hannon and I, so...
Just the two of you?
Yeah, just the two of us, and then, we've got a few others driving and everything else, so we'll try and make a day of it.
Sounds like the perfect bromance to me.
Well...
Now, obviously, every day we do Talking Reds, we ask you to send in a question, and we've got a question today. It's there, you can see it. I believe the guy's name is Glarpost, which I think is a bit of a hint to where he's from. And he's asked us about our old firm allegiances, either Celtic or Rangers. Now, you've probably got a firmer grasp on this than I have, so I'll allow you to...
Yeah, it's sort of a weird one because I think if you're online, you see a lot of things about the great things Celtic fans do, the way they got that standing section going, and that's something I sort of semi fall in love with. I'm not going to lie.
Coming.
Yeah, but there's just a thing with Steven Gerrard that I don't think I'm ever going to lose. To be honest, I sort of feel like wherever he goes, I'll always have a little bit of a soft spot for that. But in terms of the actual clubs, there's no full-on allegiance. I think it's hard to do that. I've been to the Celtic Paradise Park, isn't that what it's called? Just to see the outside. We did a bit of filming there earlier on in the year, and it looks like one of those proper old grounds. And you can imagine on a European night, similar to Anfield, it gets kind of bouncing. It's a special place. So there's that sort of gets you on one side, but then. That Steven Gerrard factor is never going to go away from me.
It's big. It is big. There's no denying that. I'm probably going to piss off everybody with my answer to this question. I have kind of flip-flopped on this over the years. My initial feelings was for Celtic through the Kenny Dalglish connection. When I was growing up, reading about the club, I saw him in their shirt and in our shirts. I thought, okay, we'll go with him. But then, some of you may know, my sister supports Leeds United, and in the early 90s, Leeds were playing Rangers in the Champions League, the very first Champions League, and Rangers beat them, and that made me very happy. So I did kind of have a bit of a like for them, and it's kind of gone a bit like that. It's been like, we had those fantastic games against Celtic in the 90s in UEFA Cup, with the McManaman goal, and the one where they knocked us out, unfortunately, but then they went on to win the trophy. And there have been some great players down the years. I think of Henrik Larsson, Haas, and all those kind of stuff. So I have kind of generally been more Celtic. Yeah. But if you ask me, was I happy to see Steven Gerrard win against Celtic for the first time in ages? I was. And I mean, anyone who saw the way he celebrated that game, it's hard not to think, okay, maybe in the future. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think, moments like that, you sort of take away the kind of bigger issues around the two clubs, and the sort of themes that can sometimes get a bit dark at times. Yes. And you see that in a pure moment, and it doesn't matter who it is, you're automatically going to feel a bit of harmony with them, and the Old Firm is still one of those games. I think the only one left really. I watched that one throughout the entire thing, and it's brilliant. It's got everything you want. You got the likes of Morelos at the end doing what he does, and you got that kind of the intensity. Just feels like we think about the Merseyside derby. Obviously that's a huge game and everything, but in terms of on the pitch, two teams who pretty much chuck everything they have, and that's with every limb.
And the games are always mental because of the League Cup final as well. Oh my goodness, that was mental. Actually, I've got a story about that game. I was walking back home from the shop. I'd just been to the shop. Yeah. I was just walking home with all my shopping, and there was on the road there was just a house with the door wide open, and I just heard this guy screaming, "Come on!" So I was like, let me just go and have a look what's going on. And I just kind of walked up, saw what it was, and I was just like, oh, hi, mate, what's the score? And he was like, come in. He basically dragged me in, fed me beers, and then he almost put his Celtic chair on me. I became his kind of Celtic cheerleader alongside him for the rest of the game. So, yeah. And
swung your allegiances the other way then.
I mean, a little bit. But I mean, you get swept up in it so well, and it's such a great game to watch that I just genuinely hope that it's something that we're always going to get to see. I don't know whether or not we're going to get to see in England. To be brutally honest with you, I prefer them to stay where they are. I mean, as much as they'll never admit it, I think the rest of Scotland needs them more than we do.
100%, yeah. I mean, you look at that league, the rest of it, I think they've only got 12 teams in the top flight, which is really small in itself, and a lot of the other teams there just don't have the resources, do they? Both clubs themselves kind of struggle in terms of keeping hold of players, getting in players. So for that league and for the people there, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about, isn't it? Totally. That you want it to stay for them, and watching it from afar is always nice. It's always nice tuning in to watch those games, twice or thrice a season, because it's good now because Rangers, are on the upwards kind of trajectory. For years we haven't seen them anywhere near that, and
got a lot more interesting.
Exactly, and now you've got that other team there who you've got Celtic that want to make it 10 in a row, don't they? And it's that big thing, and Rangers now look like they could spoil that party.
So yeah, keep watching the Old Firm games, and I'm sorry if I've upset some of you. I just like good football. What am I going to say? Now, the rest, some other things that we're doing today, the two of us, pretty much as soon as this is finished, are going to be recording a new transfer show, which we're going to be talking about the roundup of the window, since we're getting to the end of it now. There's a couple of deals done yesterday that we're going to talk about, but excitingly, we're going to be talking about Liverpool's summer business, who we think we're going to be getting, because by all reports, it's going to be quite the busy summer for Liverpool.
I'm looking forward to it. I think, we're in the middle of the season. It's all great with how the Reds are doing, and these little murmurs coming out, isn't there? Every now and again, you're hearing little things, and it's going to be exciting. I think there's going to be some big things happening.
Definitely. So keep an eye out for that show. As I say, keep an eye out for all of our post-match reports from West Ham. Hopefully, off the back of another fantastic Liverpool win. You can still get tickets to some of the Ireland shows, can't you? Yeah. So
should be a link in the description.
Yeah, there always should be a link in the description. Save me having to repeat it every damn week. But there we go. It's another fantastic show for you all. Hopefully the Reds will put on a fantastic show for us all later this season.